I'm Gregg, Jarrett. You're in the strategy room. Donald Trump's top-tier status in the polls has Jeb Bush's campaign looking for new ways to attack the businessman. Trump's frequent attacks on Bush's positions have hurt the former Florida governor with primary voters. Here now with reaction, our political strategist, David Mercer and Amos Snead. Welcome to both of you. Amos, you think Bush is really ready to take on Trump?
Absolutely. I think if you look at the race, and there are a lot of candidates on the Republican side right now, I think most Republicans view Jeb Bush as the adult in the room. He has a really experienced team. He's going to be competitive on this. Look, it's not the race he wanted to run. He wanted to run a very positive campaign for president, but instead they're having to take a little shift because Donald Trump is not going away.
David, Jeb Bush has lost almost half his supporters in New Hampshire since July. I mean, that's a pretty rapid descent. In Iowa, his support has also dropped in half. What's happening to Jeb Bush? Is he a victim of Donald Trump or of himself?
Well, some would argue both, Greg. And I think, you see as in New Hampshire where he's dipped, John Kasich, who entered the race late, only 5-6 weeks ago, has taken a lot of steam from Jeb Bush there. Scott Walker was beating Jeb Bush in Iowa earlier, but that campaign seems to be missing a few beats and needs to get its footing again. So I think it's a problem both in how do you deal with the changing environment and candidates and who's up and down, but also Donald Trump is a force. And I would say that this is a problem for the GOP and the party itself. We've seen the luster of the GOP brand slipping greatly, where only 30%, 32% of the American people have a favorable impression of the GOP. That's in contrast to 48% having a favorability of Democrats. So I think this is hurting the conflict in and of itself, and some of the things that both Jeb Bush and Donald Trump have said is hurting the brand of the party as a whole.
Amos, Bush finally went after Trump with a video released last week in which he basically lays out Trump's positions over the years that have been very supportive of Democrats, their issues, and indeed supportive of the Democratic Party. How effective was that? Does he need to do more of it?
I think we will continue to see more of that. And if you really look at the whole Donald Trump situation here, I think this plays into Jeb Bush's hands, because it's going to come down to, is it a Jeb Bush or Donald Trump who's going to run against Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden to be the next president of the United States? But I do think we have seen, Greg, a shift in the past couple of weeks that Jeb Bush is ready to tell his story and take this fight directly to Donald Trump.
David, Bush was sort of fuming on Good Morning America saying, well, Trump is trying to insult his way to the presidency. Yeah. That's one way of looking at it. Another way is that Trump is putting voice to the anger that Americans have over career politicians in Washington, D.C., the establishment. Isn't Hillary Clinton the quintessential establishment?
I think she is the quintessential public servant over the last 3 decades. That said, I don't think anger, one, or insulting your way are the best ways into the presidency. And I think, owing to what Amos just said with regard to Bush compared to Donald Trump, what I think Bush is hoping on is more questions to hold Donald Trump accountable, as we saw him fumble a great deal on foreign policy issues. And that he will, once getting in, learn some of the information or get more familiar with the issues. Well, you can't learn on the job. And he's got to come with a preparedness, and I don't think that that's going to show once there's a lot of scrutiny given to him by the media and, quite frankly, his opponents in the next several debates that occur over the primary season.
Amos, I'm wondering how solid the Trump support really is. If you examine the poll numbers, they appear to come, his strongest level of support comes from people least likely to actually vote in a primary. We're talking independents. They can't vote in some primaries, and other primaries, they just don't get out and vote even though they're permitted. So, is it a bit of a mirage, these poll numbers for Trump?
Hey, it could be a mirage, but, as someone who follows politics closely, it's a lot of fun to watch. Donald Trump, he's not going away. Say what you will about the man. he's a media genius, and he knows how to stay in the news and continue to be part of the story, good or bad. But I do think as we've still got a lot of time. And as we get through this, I think Jeb Bush will come out as the adult in the race, and Republicans are really going to unite around whoever our candidate is, because we want someone to beat Hillary Clinton. We don't want 8 more years of Democratic
David
leadership
and
in the White
Amos,
House.
thank you both for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks.
Check out foxnews.com for more on the 2016 presidential race. I'm Gregg Jarrett. Thanks for watching.